پہ بھی پہرا ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے۔ مسمار تیرا روزہ امت نے کیا جب سے، بابا تیرا رہتا ہے، تربت پہ تیری تب سے، کب گنبد خضرا میں بابا تیرا رہتا ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے۔ مہدی سے کوئی پوچھے کیا اس پہ گزرتی ہے، آواز بقیہ سے جب رونے کی آتی ہے، آنکھوں سے لہو رو کر وہ بھی یہی کہتا ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے۔ کیا حال یہ امت نے، کیا حال یہ امت نے زہرا کا بنایا ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے۔ پر محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔
پر محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔ اندھیرے اندھیرے یتیموں سے چھپ کر سڑے قبر زہرا علی رو رہے ہیں، اندھیرے اندھیرے یتیموں سے چھپ کر سڑے قبر زہرا
علی رو رہے ہیں۔
تمہاری مصیبت بھلاؤں گا کیسے، میں بچوں سے آنسو چھپاؤں گا کیسے، تمہیں یاد کر کے جو روئیں گے بچے، میں بچوں کو اپنے مناؤں گا کیسے، تصور میں زہرا سے کر کے یہ باتیں جھکائے سر اپنا علی رو رہے ہیں، اندھیرے اندھیرے یتیموں سے چھپ کر
سرے قبر زہرا
علی رو رہے ہیں، کبھی آنسوؤں کو چھپاتی ہے زینب، کبھی بھائیوں کو اٹھاتی ہے زینب، کبھی گھر کے آنگن میں آتی ہے زینب، کبھی ماں کے حجرے میں جاتی ہے زینب، کبھی رو کے دکھیا یہ کرتی ہے نوحہ، اٹھو اماں فضا علی رو رہے ہیں، اندھیرے اندھیرے یتیموں سے چھپ کر سرے قبر زہرا
علی رو رہے ہیں۔
اٹھو شاہزادی ہوا ہے اندھیرا، تمہارے بنا وہ کہاں سو سکے گا، میں جاؤں گا واپس تو بولے گا بابا میری ماں کہاں ہے، بلا دو خدا را، اکیلے جلا کر چڑھا آنسوؤں کا سرے قبر زہرا علی رو رہے ہیں، اندھیرے اندھیرے یتیموں سے چھپ کر سرے قبر زہرا
علی رو رہے ہیں۔
ہے شہر نبی میں سما کربلا کا، نہ کوئی تسلی نہ کوئی دلاسا، ترستے ہے گھر میں یتیمہ زہرا، کوئی آنکھ دیتا نہیں ان کو پرسا، حسین و حسن کا کہیں پر ہے گریا، کہیں میرے مولا علی رو رہے ہیں، اندھیرے اندھیرے یتیموں سے چھپ کر سرے قبر زہرا
علی رو رہے ہیں۔
کبھی اس جگہ کو نہ بھولیں گے مولا، یہ کوچہ ہے مکے تل دل مرتضیٰ کا، یہاں سے نہ گزرے حسن باد زہرا، ستم گھر نے مارا تھا یوں تازیانہ، محمد کی بیٹی زمیں پر گری تھی، یہاں بیٹھے تنہا علی رو رہے ہیں، اندھیرے اندھیرے یتیموں سے چھپ کر سرے قبر زہرا
علی رو رہے ہیں۔
وہ لمحے ہے مشکل علی کو بھلانا، وہ پہلو پہ جلتے ہوئے در کا گرنا، وہ آہوں کا بھرنا وہ زخموں کا گھسنا، شہادت وہ محسن کی زہرا کا رونا، تکلم ابھی تک اسی بے کسی پر، لحد میں بھی مولا علی رو رہے ہیں، اندھیرے اندھیرے یتیموں سے چھپ کر سرے قبر زہرا علی رو رہے ہیں، محمد والے محمد صلوات۔
صلوات۔ My dear elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. So far, we've managed to reach 40% of our Ayyame Fatemiyah budget. We still have another couple of £1,000 to go. If I could please encourage everyone to at least donate £5 per person today, then inshallah we can reach the target by tomorrow lunchtime. The polo shirts that you can see me wearing now are available for sale in the gents and the ladies. They'll be selling for £20 per person. All donations will go towards future mosque events. Final couple of announcements. We have had a couple of noise complaints when leaving the compound. I know we do have this temporary entrance, but please, if we can be as quiet as possible when leaving. I know we all want to talk to each other, but let's try and keep the noise to a minimum. Finally, a reminder for tomorrow's program. The program will be starting at 12:04 with Zuhr namaz, followed by Surah Yasin at 12:35, Marshiyas at 12:50, English lecture will start at 1:05, followed by Urdu Masahib at 1:35, Noha and Ziyarat at 1:50, and we'll finish off with Niyaz at 2:15. Please can I ask everyone just to please move forward. The Sheikh is running a little bit late, but inshallah he'll come here as soon as possible, so please can we all move forward with a few salawats. Allahumma salli ala Allah. And please can we recite Surah Fatiha for our marhumin who are no longer with us. Al-Fatiha. And also, can we recite another Surah Fatiha for our President, Brother Muhammad, who is currently in hospital. Let's all pray for his quick recovery. No. And please can we all invite Brother Abbas Tijani to the podium to recite Marshiyah. Salawat.
बार दिगर एक नारे सलवात When Mawla Ali alayhi salam was in his final moments, he says to his sons that there are only two masa'ib that really broke me. The first masa'ib was when my brother Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi was passing away, because I knew that the shadow and my backbone was passing. There was one masa'ib that really broke me, and that was when my wife Fatima was leaving this world, because it was not what she gave to me, but it was mostly what she hid from me. One of the main things she hid from me was just how badly her back was bruised and how her ribs were broken. She hid from me about how much she suffered in those final moments, because all she wanted was for me to find some peace and comfort in that time. He says, "Oh Fatima, I am so alone. Without you around, this house is no longer a home. How will I forget the things that I saw? Your ribs that were crushed, the nail and the door. Your tormented cries, the blood on the floor. Muhsin, our son, whose life is no more. Oh Fatima, it broke me to see. Though you were in pain, you crawled trying to save Ali. He says, this grief in my heart cannot be contained. But how can I cry in front of Husayn? So I wander the streets without any aim to find anyone who can share my pain. Oh Fatima, my heart sobs for you, but I cry by myself in alleys that are destitute. And then listen to what he says. He says, they tell me, Ali, we thought you were strong. You lifted the gates of Khaybar alone. So why is it that you cry on and on? You know better than us that she is gone. Oh Fatima, if only they knew the bruises and scars I saw when I was washing you. He says, the children are searching just for your scent. How can I explain your absence to them? There aren't any words to stop their lament. You were for them all a mother and friend. Oh Fatima, they will cry aloud when they look at you laying motionless in a shroud. And then he says, you know that a day will come on Husayn. You know that a day will come on Husayn. He will be alone upon burning plains. A shower of stones and arrows will rain. With 12 blunted strikes, his neck will be slain. Or should I say, a shower of stones and arrows will rain. He will call for you again and again. Oh Fatima, they will trample him. His chest will be torn and he'll bleed from his every limb. He says as he lays Fatima down, you knew all my secrets and all my woes. You stayed with me through my highs and my lows. You wiped all my tears and helped me to cope. In each of my trials you filled me with hope. Oh Fatima, the most perfect wife, I will mourn for you the rest of the days I'm alive. And then he says, and this is the most heartbreaking words, with my very hands I lay you to sleep. I know that you told me to never weep, but I can't control the way that I feel. Your death is a scar that will never heal. Oh Fatima, oh Rose of Allah, your fragrance will stay forever in my broken heart. Your fragrance will stay forever in my broken heart. By Muhammad wa al Muhammad salawat.
If you can move forward and recite one loud salawat, please. Let us now invite Sheikh Shomali to enlighten us with tonight's lecture with 3 of your loudest salawats.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Dear sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum. As usual, let's begin our session by reciting a Fatiha for the marhumin of the sponsors and also sending prayers for the President, Brother Muhammad Walji, who, as you probably know, is unwell. So please join me in reciting a Fatiha for the marhumin of the sponsors that you see the names on the screen, and inshallah also praying for our President Muhammad Walji. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Please recite the salawat. As you remember, the last couple of nights we've been talking about the solution to end human suffering, to all of human problems, which was the teachings of all the prophets throughout history, and also the main teaching of the Quran, of the Prophet, of the Ahl Bayt. And it's one of those teachings that probably if you talk to any person, religious person, they'll be like, yes, of course I agree with that. But as we said, even though we've heard about it, spoken about it, perhaps some of us even given lectures about it or told our children about it, but it's not a reality we find in our life. If you remember in the first night, I spoke about this idea that this very important teaching of all the prophets, including our prophet, has not been installed in our heart. And this is the operating system through which any other aspect of religion can function. Without this, as inshallah we'll speak tonight, even if we do everything, as long as this is not there first, we wouldn't get the result we want. What was this one key ingredient? What is this one thing which would end basically all of our problems? We said this was to be able to experience the world as an abd of a loving creator. So if you remember, yesterday we were talking about the two ways of experiencing the world. In one way, which whether you are religious or not, most of us were experiencing it this way, and we may even say that I'm an abd of God, but that is not how we experience the world. And in this other way, the way you experience the world, as we spoke about yesterday, is that you find yourself as one of the 8 billion people in a world in which you find yourself among trees and animals, and you have to survive, and so many things about it doesn't make sense. You have so many worries, so many fears. You think it's you versus life. You think you need to work hard to get some love, and even when you have someone next to you that loves you, you're worried it may leave you. There's so much pressure in the way we usually experience life. And I've seen a lot of, I'm reaching that age where a lot of my friends are now well settled into adult life. And the way I know that is that most of them, they have lost the smiles on their faces. You see, the pressure has kicked in. And it's like, yeah, man, having 2 kids, the cost of living and all of that, it really gets to people. Add to that, when we are in a stage, for example, we are in right now, you see so much suffering also for innocent, beautiful souls in the world. The pressure of that, a person who's already struggling in life, now how can I help that? How do I understand that? Then suddenly the experience of life becomes a very painful, lonely experience that a lot of us may even ask, why is it there even in the first place? Which, if you think about it, it's one of the questions angels asked. Angels asked God, why do you even want to create human beings? Like, what's the point? If you want glorification and whatnot, okay, we're here. What do you want to create humanity for? And in this way of experiencing the world, which is not an abd of a loving God, we feel the same question on a daily basis. A lot of parents may have heard their children asking them, why did God even create any of this? And you would really struggle to give an answer to yourself and to your child that would not make God a psychopath. Like, for example, if you tell your children that God did all of this to test us, like, but why? Didn't he have something better to do than to put us go through so much pain just to test us? Like, why? So in this way of living, your experience of life does not even allow you to understand so many things. You can't understand what you're doing. You can't understand what's the purpose of this world. In other words, you don't have the operating system to accept religion. Even though you may be a religious lecturer, it doesn't matter. As long as you experience the world in this way, as an isolated being on your own with all the pressures on your shoulder, none of the religious things will make sense to you. You would have to force it on yourself. One of the lecturers gave this example. It's like sticking an apple to a tree. Instead of the tree naturally giving fruit, giving an apple, You have to stick everything to yourself. This is the way most of us have accepted religion. It doesn't come naturally from us. We've had to force aspects of it to ourselves. So they'll become more clear as we go on. But we said there's another way of being in the world. A way that, unfortunately, even religious people have not had access to, and today we'll explain why. In this other way, you don't find yourself as one of the 8 billion people on your own. You experience all of humanity as one, as God says in the Quran, خَلَقَكُم مِّن نَفْسٍ وَاحِدَةٍ. Although there's no point in hearing that, if I hear God says, I created all of you from the same nafs, but I can't even feel close to my cousin or brother or friend, there's no point in memorizing that. But God says you can really live in a way in which the whole humanity feels like one being. And once you live like that, no one even needs to tell us, care for others. Because there is no others. We're all one. In the same way that, as we spoke about yesterday, no one needs to explain to my hand if I'm about to fall to cover the face. The hand naturally goes and covers the face because it says the face is the more vulnerable place. But imagine a body in which all the organs think they're on their own. Even if they have the best of intentions, they cannot function together. God says in the Quran, as long as we don't manage to feel one internally, there will always be problems. The only time in which the human family, all 8 billion of us, will finally be able to overcome oppressions, problems, suffering, is when we get to that level and we realize that we were all one. And it's at that point that you don't even need law, you don't need morality, you don't need people telling you that you need to be nice to others. So one of the things is, if you think about it, a lot of cultures right now, a lot of societies, the way they don't hurt each other is not that they think they're one. There's laws, you can't steal. And in places in which laws are a little bit less active, like for example the Black Friday sale, or during COVID, if you remember when they said toilet paper there may not be enough of it, you see the fight among us. What does that show? It doesn't mean we're bad people. It means as long as we don't feel one, everyone thinks I need to look after myself and my family. It's me versus other people. It's a matter of survival. But we haven't still, as a society, grown up to realize that your survival is like my survival. We're not different. We're the same, and one day we'll realize that. But that was the main thing prophets wanted to teach humanity. Well, it's very interesting. There's a verse of the Quran in which God says humanity could have been one, but they started having fights among them. So God sent the prophets to sort out the disputes between people, and then people started fighting over the thing that prophets brought. Which shows, as long as we don't reach that level of abd, even when prophets come to help us stop fighting and feel one, we use that which they brought to stop us fighting to fight over now. So, verses of the Quran, by the way, as controversial as it may sound, it's the Prophet. So we said the key is to now feel as an abd one of this human family, but not just one human family. That would still be like an orphan. We say, Quran says the only time you will then reach to that beautiful place is when you realize this one human family is created by a loving God. Ibadur Rahman. You're all one in being insan, and all of you are created by a loving God who's got your back, who will take care of you, who will have all of your needs in mind. Two different ways of living. One way in which you need to worry about every single need you have. You're fighting for attention. And we do all of this sometimes without even knowing, by the way. So one of the things I've been thinking about recently is how much we're all desperate for attention. If you think about it, maybe the majority of what we see around us in culture is people trying to get some attention in different ways. Every person through the thing they in their family or their culture they've got. Do you remember yesterday I said if you know the language of life, you will see what people are telling you, what the world is telling you. If you don't know the language, you may see on the surface of the world, this person is dancing, this person is twerking, this person is reciting, this person is masalan doing this person is giving a lecture. But if you can see beneath it, you would see 90% of them are doing the same thing. Saying, can someone please show attention to me? It may be doing it in different ways. Each person, based on what their culture allows, what they've learned in their family, the skills they've learned. But there are a lot of times in which there's not that much difference at the depth between even someone giving a talk or someone dancing. They both saying, can I have some attention? Can I have some love? You would be shocked. One of the examples I shared before is I used to do a children's psychotherapy course, and one of the things we would teach the parents was how to show attention to your children. Because as you know, children need attention. Literally, they need it for their brain to grow properly. So one of the things that would help the parents to be able to show their children attention was different games they could play with them, or sometimes something as simple as helping the parent learn to put lotion on the hand of their children, but also look into their eyes. Some of the parents really struggle to look into the eyes of their children. And the child needs to be seen. I will explain why that is the case. We have a lot of ahadith that explains why does the child needs the complete attention of the parents. So anyways, we're trying to teach the parents that look into the eyes of your child, help them feel seen, and as you're, for example, rubbing the lotion on his hand. And as you're doing this, so I have to do this for the father for example, let's say the father is in my clinic, I have to do this on his hand to show him this is how you do it for your child. The moment I touch his hand, I'm like, he becomes like a child. I'm like, wow, even you're desperate for attention. But these are not things we tell each other, but if you think about it, all of us, we're desperate for someone just to ask us, how are you, and really mean it. Not one of these how are yous, which you expect the guy to say, can't complain, and you move on. Like, honestly, the way we live, the worst thing is someone, you ask them, how are you, and they really want to answer. Like, no, I just said, how are you? Just tell me you're good, let's move on. But this shows how desperate we are for that attention. And especially after you get to a certain age, where you may not have those circles you had, or your society may feel like you don't have much to offer. Because most of us, by the way, we use our jobs, whatever it is, as ways of feeling good about ourselves. It's so interesting. At its core, we may all be doing different things, but the majority are trying to get the same thing out of it. Whether someone's a very successful business person, successful this, that, at the end they want to show to themselves, I'm good enough. I'm worthy of love. How do you know it? Get someone's job from them for a month and see how they feel. See what kind of feelings come in them. And I've spent a lot of time with people to whom this happens. A very successful, confident business person that you would think this guy has really hacked self-esteem, goes through a financial difficulty, loses his money for a few months. These guys are so smart, they come back. But in that 2-3 months, he has a massive identity crisis. Why would my children love me now that I don't have money? What's my point? What's all of this? What does all of this show? We haven't realized that, Baba, you are an abd, a creation of a loving God. The moment you realize that, you realize you don't need to be going searching for love and attention out in the external world. Your Creator is ready to give all of this to you internally. So our situation right now as humanity is like the child of the most wealthy king in the world who's ready to give him and her everything, but we've forgotten we're the child of a king. We're going around in the city begging for attention, begging for love, begging for safety, thinking maybe finally I'll feel safe if this house is mine and not I don't have to pay rent. If my job is like this, maybe finally I'll feel safe. But Quran says, all the prophets came to say there is a whole other way of experiencing the world. And it's not about memorizing it all. It's about internally, inside feeling, I am one of the human family and all of us are created by a loving God who's there for us in every single moment. Please recite the salawat. Now, you may say, okay, that sounds lovely. How come we don't have it? Aren't we religious people? Why are we not experiencing the world that way? Why do we get scared? Why do we get anxious? And the answer goes back to a wrong understanding of how to feel an abd, how to become an abd. So maybe we can now talk a little bit about this and also share with you, why Lady Fatima, in one of the few sermons we have from her, she points to this point. It's so profound. This is why the lady, although there are so many reasons, this lady is way higher than we can even imagine. And our understanding of how Lady Fatima is high is like a primary school student that you ask them who's the best mathematician. It says our teacher. You say why? It says because my teacher knows 2 + 2 is 4. We still have not even begun to understand where Lady Fatima was. We've got it right that she's special. But our understanding of how special she is still very primary level. We'll get to that. So we said we need to realize that we are an abd created by a loving God, and that's when everyone will fall into its place. In fact, our Prophet, what is the highest praise we say for him? Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Imagine the highest praise we have for our Prophet is what? That he became an abd. His identity wasn't that I'm Javad, a lecturer coming from, I don't know, this country, this is my degree. Because the moment I say that, then it's me having to live life with all of this background. But if that's not your identity, if your identity is, I'm created by this God, he needs to take care of me. God says this is the highest level. If someone asks you, who are you? The answer you give shows your level of spirituality. And also shows what are you relying on to face the challenges of life. What are you? Well, I'm a PhD from this university. So that means you want to face life and your resource is this PhD. But when our Prophet says, I'm an abd, what does that mean? It means I'm going to go in life and my resource is the creator of this universe. And God says, Muhammad has reached the level of abd sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa rasuluh. So God says, he is an abd and I've sent him towards you. When God says he's an abd and I've sent him towards you, what does that mean? It means he's come to make you abd too as well. Isn't that the case? Would I, for example, say, my friend Jack, it's an amazing pizza maker, and I've sent him to you to make shoes for you. If I say he's a pizza maker and I sent him to you to make you pizzas. So if Muhammadun abduhu and has been sent to you, it means he's come to help us become abds as well. Why is it so important to become abd? Because that's the reality of who we are. To be an abd, it means that you've got someone taking care of you. And that someone, and God is so beautiful. He doesn't say you're just abd of a, no, he says Ibadur Rahman. That's how I want you to identify. You're created by a loving God. Now, the way we got this wrong, please recite salawat. Up to this point, by the way, do I have everyone's attention? Is everyone awake? Bless you, I'm not trying to be, what is it called, judgmental, Kimasan. Even if you're sleepy, it's totally fine. This Muharram, because I wasn't giving a lecture, I was down there and I was like, it's so difficult. Like your back starts hurting. And especially if the room is a little bit warm, you get the temptation kicks in, oh, maybe if I get 20 minutes before the Masa'ib. So it's okay, but I just thought maybe if you want to, because this part is very important. We need to pass a very narrow bridge of ideas to get, inshallah, to a good place. So give your good attention, please. Up to this point, again, everyone may say, yeah, of course, I agree. Prophet is an abd and I would like to be one as well. The challenge begins now. What is the way to get there? Because nothing I said here is things people wouldn't want. I would love to be living life feeling someone's taking care of me. I would love not to feel life is a burden, it's a gift. I would love to smile every now and then. The challenge starts, but how do you get there? And I want to mention a beautiful verse of the Quran in which Prophet Isa also says the same. Even as he is a child, he says, Inni Abdullah. And even Prophet Isa in the Quran, when he wants to say his identity, he says, Inni Abdullah. Do you remember I said this is the message of all prophets. This is God's mercy on humanity. Okay, guys, you don't need to live on your own. I'm here. I haven't forgotten about you. If you just realize I'm there for you. Now, not only from this verse of Prophet Isa we realize that, wow, this is a message that's been there all along, but we also should realize a very important point which unfortunately we've missed out on. Becoming an abd is not through actions. It's an understanding. How so? Prophet Isa had it as a child. He still hadn't done so many actions. Thus it shows this becoming an abd is not gained through now go and do so many actions. No, it's a way of experiencing the world. It's an understanding of the world. The problem we faced was we followed someone else's prescription in the Quran, and I'll later on explain whose prescription. We thought, the majority of it, if I want to become an abd of God, I have to do it through worship. So we made ubudiyah and ibadah, and we understood ibadah as doing things for God. So we thought, if I want to show God that I'm an abd of you, and from the start we made a mistake. We thought we need to show God I'm an abd. Whereas for God that was clear. We needed to remind ourselves. But we thought, if I want to be an abd of God, I need to keep praising this God. Pastor, let me keep praying, let me keep fasting. From the start, our understanding of being an abd and also ibadah started wrong. In the Quran, who was the one who started worshipping God so much to gain his favors? That's the shaitan. 6,000 years he worships, but because from the start he understood worship wrong, after 6,000 years, the main thing he has, according to Quran, is what? Kibr, arrogance. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, the prescription we follow as well to become an abd is what again? Do more to gain the favors of God. Not knowing ibadah was not to please God. Ibadah was to remember you're an abd. Very different. Very different. Hold on, I want to take you to Lady Fatima's sermon. It's so profound. Yani, all those years ago, 14 centuries ago, she saw Muslims are making the same mistakes the majority of religious people made before them, where they take the form of worship and forget what is its philosophy, and as a result, instead of getting closer to God, their kibr grows. So in one of the few teachings you have of Lady Fatima, imagine a person who's lived with the Prophet. The Prophet says, Fatima tu bad'atun minni, lived with Imam Ali, herself such special person, has a few teachings to leave humanity with. She gives this one, that people, Iman came to purify you from shirk, that's another lecture, and Salat came to remove kibr from you. Salat did not come to make you please God. Salat come to remove your kibr and arrogance. But what we missed is, how can I perform salah that afterwards my arrogance is less, not more? Because if you think about it, the way we understand salah, after you perform it, you're like, oh, this is me after salah. I've even received so many questions in many communities. For example, when the discussion comes on heaven and hell, people say, oh, how can that person go to hell who hasn't prayed, whereas I have prayed? Pas, you prayed, and what increased inside you? I don't know, I've done something. Or another person may say, why is God not listening to me? And I have prayed for him. I fasted every Ramadan. Pas, this means this is a beautiful person, no judgment there. But from the start, they taught her or they taught him salat, fasting, everything wrong. This person thinks, I am doing salah to become better. I've fasted for God. Whereas Lady Fatima says, baby, God doesn't need you. God's already, ghaniyun anil alamin. Salat is something for you to remove the veils inside, so you remember you're an Abd of Rahman, and a loving God's got to take care of you. Do you see the mistake? Please recite salawat. Let me use an analogy to explain this a little bit further. By the way, I know this is a little bit of a heavy topic, but inshallah we'll spend time with it, it'll become clear. Even Quran has this beautiful, so many beautiful verses. Once you understand this point, you see the whole Quran is trying to say the same thing in so many ways. Asan, religion is nothing other than this one point. Tawheed. All of religion is Tawheed. All the munajats of Ahl Bayt, munajat Sha'baniyah, Dua Kumail, Abu Hamza Thumali, it all comes back to this one thing. That there is a beautiful God who loves you so much and has taken care of you. Asan, literally, munajat Sha'baniyah starts with that. Dua Araf of Imam Husayn gets there. Hala, how can I get to that place where I feel this is a world created by my loving God and I feel His presence? Because Quran promised us, "Ala bi dhikrillah tatma'innul qulub." With the remembrance of God, your heart should find peace. Hala, which religious person his heart has found peace? Ala inna awliya Allah la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. The awliya of God, the friends of God, there would be no fear against them, and they will never find grief inside. Why don't we have it? It all comes back to getting this wrong. I mean, the way Shaitan understood it was this. And bless, Shaitan initially, I think, made an innocent mistake, it seems. Because we've made the same mistake, and if we judge him, it comes back. The idea was this, okay, I mean, every person comes to this world, and at the moment that they come to this world, through certain things genetically, certain things in their environment, etc. Every person comes with a certain amount of goodness in them. Okay? Goodness in every way, dige. It could be your IQ, it could be your kindness, it could be your integrity, your honesty, etc. Based on your family, if you've come from a family in which your grandfathers and fathers were kind, you become kind. If you're in an environment in which maybe they're so angry, you become angry. Or sometimes if they're bad, you don't like that, so you become good. Each of us, we have a share of goodness inside us. Let's call that our good resource. Okay? We can call it like if we're a cup, in every of us there's a certain amount of water. And then we face life with this as our resource. This could also be our money, could be the friends we have. If you're from a family that's connected, all of those become part of your resources. We want to face life with these amount of resources that we have. What is the challenge? This is usually not enough for facing life. Why? Because life is way bigger than our cup. You're just one tiny being in a massive world that the majority of it we still don't even know. So Quran says what? Quran says insan's story, when he or she forgets it's an apt, is like this. It wants to go and face life with its limited resources, so it keeps coming across challenges which are bigger than its resources. And Quran says in these moments, if the challenge gets too big, insan will remember God. One of the examples God says in the Quran is when you're on a ship, because this is an example that works back for them, we can translate it for ourselves. It says, on the land, people feel like I'll take care of it. But when they go to the ocean on a ship and a big storm hits, and they're like, hope I have no power inside me to really get this ship to be stable in this stormy night in the ocean, then they call on to God. God, can you help us? It seems like my resources ran out. Can you come solve this for me? And Quran says, so you only remember God when these challenges overwhelm you, and the moment the challenge is gone, what happens? God, thank you, I'm good. Your services are no longer required. God says this is the living of a person who has not realized I'm an abd. The person even talks to God, is a religious person, but it's not an abd of God. This is a person who has not even understood how reality works. According to this person, if I want to have a better life, I need to put more water in my cup. And if the cup doesn't have enough room, I'll make my cup bigger. Because if you ask any religious person, what's your duty in life? The majority of them say what? I need to become a better person. What does that mean? I need to allow more patience inside me. I need more courage inside me. I need more faith inside me. I need to worship more. The majority of us on the night of Qadr in Ramadan, what are we trying to do? To become a bigger cup. Masalan, this year my iman ran out, I fall for the temptation. Let me become bigger. Include more iman inside me. So even when you're religious, you think I need to keep growing my cup and adding more to myself. Let me become bigger, more iman, more tawakkul, more patience, more knowledge. What is the problem with this? Even if you become so great in certain things, 6,000 years of worship, as you keep filling the cup, you keep making the cup also thicker. Because imagine if you want to be such a big cup, that's going to be a very thick cup. And that is the kibr around you. Yani, according to Quran, you may even succeed in increasing your faith. You may even succeed in increasing your patience. But at the same time, you've done something else. You've grown your ego. Look at me, the one who is so patient, the one who's worshipped so much. That's literally shaitan. Poor thing, he's done so much good. 6,000 years of keep adding to the cup. Pray, worship, all of that. But by the end of it, when he looks, he says, wow, look at me. As you say, look at me, two things happen. First of all, that's arrogance. And although we say what arrogance is, why arrogance is bad, that needs another series. But another thing happens. You keep, no matter how big you become, there's still a barrier between you and the rest of the goodness in the world. As long as your goodness is in a cup, it's always limited, or no matter how much you want to grow it. What does the Prophet say? Does the Prophet say if you want more water from the ocean of God's resources, make your cup bigger? No. What does Prophet say? If you want to take more of God's goodness, break the cup. Imagine, I want to, with one cup, take all the water in an ocean. Shaitan would tell you, keep making the cup bigger. Prophet says, baby, no matter how much you make the cup bigger, there would always be a separation between what's inside it and what's outside. There would always be a limit as long as there is a cup. So what do? Break the cup. Break the cup is what? Break this false identity you've made yourself, me. The moment you say, I'm an abd of a loving creator, the moment I no longer say, oh, I'm the Jawad with a PhD. Jawad with a PhD is my cup. I keep filling it. Although I've done this degree, Jawad the Hose person. Jawad went to Hose. What am I doing? A cup. Put a little bit of Hose in it, a little bit of Fatemiyah in it, a little bit of this. Prophet says, Baba, let go. All of that is nice. But see even the good that's already in the cup as the things God gave you. Who made it possible for you to go to Hose? Who made it possible for you to go to uni? Asan, who gave you the eyes to see, the ears to read? Prophet says, if you want more, even the little you have, give it back to God. Instead of trying to make yours more, say, Alhamdulillah. God, even this small thing that I had, you had given to me. Asan, I want to be the same with you. Break your cup, be an abd. The moment you break the cup, what happens? The whole water in the ocean is yours. Please recite salawat. Oh, this is the most practical point you can hear. Allah inshallah will get to how this is so practical. It's not like some abstract theology nonsense. Because I hate abstract stuff if it doesn't lead to change on life. Allah will get to how this can change your relationship with your partner. This is crazy stuff. And we'll get to that point. Maybe Quran says there are certain people who live life based on the resources they think it's theirs, and they keep facing challenges and they get scared. They want to walk on life on their own. But God says there's another group of people, He calls them Bani Adam. Yani these are the human beings who followed the way of Prophet Adam back to God. So God calls them Bani Adam. He says these guys, these ones who don't rely on their own resources, they say whatever I have is from God, suddenly find access to infinite resources. Hold on, listen to this. God says those guys would go to the ocean and they would get scared. But these guys, وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ وَرَزَقْنَاهُمْ مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. God says the moment you break your cup, the moment you don't want to go through life on your own resources, from that point onwards, I will carry you every moment of your life. Instead of trying to make your legs stronger, give your legs to God. God says, I will carry you from that point onwards. And when I carry you, I come with all the resources in the world. وَرَزَقْنَاهُمْ مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ, and I will give you rizq in the most pure way. What is rizq? Oh, don't think of rizq just as money. Rizq is even love. Rizq is even knowledge. Rizq is even attention. It says you don't need to go desperately 10, 20 years, read books to find something. I will bring knowledge to you. You want love? I will bring love to you. You want attention? I will give attention to you. Either through a friend, through a family. The moment you become an abd, your life, God says, is on me. You don't need to go through life and keep getting scared. I will literally, God says, carry you through your life. وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. And I'm telling you, we're reaching a stage in the history of humanity that you can no longer live on your own. Yani it's getting to a place where those who have not become an abd are going to increasingly find it difficult to even smile, to even talk to each other. Just wait. Yani alone we're reaching to a stage where you should quickly jump to the arms of God. And we'll talk about how to do that as well. Don't think that now I need to go and masalan fast or something. We'll talk about that. Actually, I want to talk about it today, but our time is out. I'll just give a few examples of how real this is. Maybe when I say living on your own resources, I don't just mean your money. Baby, this comes to every moment of your life. And I've seen when people make this transition from living on their own to living as an abd of a loving God. Let me tell you what are some of the changes that happens. Real things people have told me as they took this transition. One of the things they said is that we have less misunderstandings at home. Baby, how many of you have had this challenge at home? You want to communicate something, your partner doesn't get it, you don't get it, and it's like, forget about it. Makes you grumpy. You know how difficult it is to just tell someone exactly what's in your heart? God says, I will come even help you with that. Wallah, I've seen it. Even how can you communicate yourself that your partner immediately gets it? Your fights will get less. Your misunderstandings. Some days, and God shows all of this to us so to see this is possible. Some days, how every sentence your family says, it just gives you joy. It's like life is flowing easily. You see your friend, he says something, he gets me. But then there are some other days you're with your friend, you say, dude, I got this, for example, promotion. It's like, who cares, man? We're all going to die. It kills your energy. Or for example, you see your father, we got this new office. And your father is like, yes, but can you take me to my GP now? He doesn't give you any attention. We've all seen how sometimes life flows. Sometimes life doesn't flow. It's like you keep hitting the wall as you talk to people. Even in something as simple as this, God says, I will even carry you in your conversations. Wallah, if I had not seen it, I would not have shared it with you. You cannot imagine how beautiful life becomes when God carries you through every moment. Every encounter with people, everything flows so naturally. You wake up in the morning, you enjoy looking at your family. Even where your attention goes is something that God would help you with. Bibin, let me give you one example and we can end it for tonight. Tomorrow we'll speak about Lady Fatima's solution to get there. Please do not do anything to achieve this till tomorrow, because chances are the solutions are going to be wrong. But just one last point. Even in the sense of what would your attention look like when you finally become an Abd of Rahman? A lot of us, if you look at your day, where does your thoughts go? Or that moment before you want to sleep? Your thought keeps going to places that may stress you. Oh, that thing is missing in the house. Oh, look, my body is getting weaker. Oh, look, that person said something that hurt me. Oh my God, I missed that opportunity. But the moment God carries you, He even protects your attention. Just in the last couple of months, I told you the story of my brother. He said, the moment I tried to rely on God and for God to carry me, he said before that, because I told you he's been on the wheelchair for months, and his leg is hurting the whole time. But he said, when God comes, I don't even remember my leg pain to feel it. Even to that extent. When God carries you, even if your body can't make you happy, God removes your attention from that part. But what happens when you want to live on your own? Is my nose too big? Why is my eyebrow like this? Why does this happen? What if I get this diabetes? What if that? What? Oh, even your own attention won't let you live, let you enjoy, let you wake up in the morning and say life is a gift. So when I say we need to become an abd if we want to end human suffering, I'm talking about something that will be there with you in every moment of your life, carrying you, keeping you safe, not allowing your mind to go to ideas that would make you worried or would get you scared, or to things that would bring you pain, or to suddenly remember memories that, 30 years ago this person broke my heart. Why? So why do you want to remember that? And God says, I can carry you through everything. وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. And this is the gift Lady Fatima wanted to give us. I keep trying to give the prescription, but we keep running out. But at least we started. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll talk about the how. And so maybe we can tonight even remember that this is the lady we've come here to remember. A lady who knew all of this, who wanted all of this for us, not just us, for all of humanity. And a lady whose pain was, I have something that can make the life of all of you such a beautiful experience, but people didn't want to listen. Not only they didn't want to listen, they didn't even allow it to reach us freely. We had to wait all of this long time finally for it to come out. So this is the pain we have tonight, and may inshallah we all soften our hearts as we listen to the beautiful recitation of our brother. And please, let's move for the Masaib section with 3 loud salawats.
سورة المباركة الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا بنت رسول الله. صلى الله عليك يا بنت نبي الله. صلى الله عليك يا بنت حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا زوجة أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا أم الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي عمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. عزیزانی گرامی اور سامعین محترم، کسی صحابی نے امیر المؤمنین سے سوال کیا تھا کہ یا امیر المؤمنین، آپ ذرا ایک لفظ میں، ایک جملے میں بیان فرمائیے کہ سیدہ کیسی تھی, کون تھی سیدہ؟ تو امیر المؤمنین بڑا پیارا سا جملہ کہتے ہیں. وہ کہتے ہیں کہ ایک جنت سے پھول تھا جو واپس وہ پھول جنت میں چلا گیا, لیکن ابھی تک اس دنیا میں وہ پھول کی خوشبو باقی ہے. صرف 18 سال کی زندگی میں سیدہ پورے دنیا میں ان کی خوشبو چھوڑ کے گئی ہے. یہ جو سارا ہم نور دیکھ رہے ہیں نا, یہ سیدہ کے صدقے میں. یہ جو ایمان دیکھ رہے ہیں ہم, وہ سیدہ کے صدقے میں. یہ جو مجلسیں برپا ہو رہی ہے وہ سارا سیدہ کے صدقے میں. تو کون ہے سیدہ اور سیدہ کا آمد کیسے ہوا؟ ائمہ کی حدیث ہے کہ یہ جو نور چل رہا تھا نا جناب آدم سے, وہ 14 کا نور نہیں تھا, 13 کا نور تھا. جناب آدم سے وہ نور چل رہا تھا, اور جناب عبد المطلب جب پہنچا تو وہ نور تقسیم ہو گیا. ایک حصہ نور کا جناب عبداللہ کے پاس چلا گیا اور ایک حصہ نور کا جناب ابو طالب کے پاس چلا گیا. ولایت و امامت کا 12 کا نور جناب ابو طالب کے پاس, اور پیغمبر اسلام کا نور جناب عبداللہ کے پاس. ایک نور ایسا تھا جو پیغمبر کو معراج پہ جانا پڑا. ایک نور اتنا پاک, اتنا پاکیزہ تھا کہ اللہ نے اپنے حبیب کو عرش میں بلایا. یہ ہے سیدہ کی آمد. اب سمجھے آپ, معراج مقدمہ ہے آمد جناب سیدہ کا. تو عزیزان گرامی, معراج ایک مرتبہ کی نہیں تھی رسول اللہ کی, کئی مرتبہ کی معراج ہے. اور سارے مسلمان یہ سمجھتے ہیں کہ رسول اللہ کی ترقی ہوئی تھی معراج پہ جا کے. حالانکہ ہم اللہ کو جسم و جسمانیت میں مانتے ہی نہیں, اللہ کو ہم دیکھ نہیں سکتے. تو رسول خدا معراج پہ اللہ کو دیکھنے گئے تو نہیں تھے, تو اس میں ترقی رسول اللہ کی نہیں تھی. یہ معراج ایک مرتبہ نہیں کئی مرتبہ کی تھی. یہ معراج صرف رسول اللہ کی ہی نہیں تھی بلکہ فرشتوں کی تھی. فرشتوں نے صدا کی تھی, پروردگارا جب سے تو نے یہ نور بنایا تھا ہم اس نور کی زیارت کرتے تھے, لیکن جب سے یہ نور تو خاکی جسم میں زمین پر بھیجا ہے تو ہم نے اس نور کی زیارت نہیں کی. پروردگارا تو اس نور کو بلا لے تاکہ ہم زیارت کر لے. یہ معراج صرف رسول اللہ کی ہی نہیں تھی بلکہ فرشتے کی بھی تھی. تو ایک مرتبہ چھٹے امام کی روایت حدیث ہے, ایک مرتبہ جب رسول خدا معراج پہ گئے تھے تو جبرائیل سامنے آتے ہیں, کہتے ہیں یا حبیب اللہ, یا رسول اللہ, یا نبی اللہ, یہ سیب ہے, یہ جو ہے نا یہ چوتھا آسمان ہے, یہاں پہ جنت ہے, یہ سیب کھائیے. رسول اللہ کہتے ہیں کہ میں یہاں کھانے پینے نہیں آیا ہوں. جبریل کہتے ہیں اللہ کا حکم ہے, فاطمہ کا نور اس سیب میں ہے, آپ نوش فرمائیے. تو اب سمجھ میں آیا کہ یہ معراج صرف رسول اللہ کی معراج نہیں تھی بلکہ مقدمہ تھا مقدمہ تھا جناب سیدہ کا. درود بھیجے محمد اور آل محمد پر. یا علی. تو عزیزان گرامی, اب سارے مسلمانوں کا اتفاق ہے بلا تفریق, کیا حتیٰ عیسائیوں کا بھی اتفاق ہے, کیا کہ جناب مریم معصومہ تھی. اور عصمت کی دلیل کیا ہے؟ فقط ایک آیت, اور اس ایک آیت میں فقط ایک لفظ. آیت کیا ہے؟ وَاسْتَفَاكَ وَاسْتَفَاكِ وَطَهَّرَكِ وَاسْتَفَاكَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ الْعَالَمِينَ, کہ اللہ نے چنا ہے آپ کو, وَطَهَّرَكِ اور آپ کو پاک رکھا. اس ایک لفظ ہے وَطَهَّرَكِ. سارے علماء اس میں بلا تفریق اتفاق کرتے ہیں کہ جناب مریم معصومہ ہے. ایک لفظ سے وطہرکی کہ اللہ نے آپ کو پاک رکھا. پاک رکھنے کا مطلب یہ کہ اللہ نے آپ کو عصمت دی ہے کیونکہ ہر چیز سے پاک رکھا ہے, کردار سے, اخلاق سے, عمل و عبادت سے. تو سارے مسلمان اتفاق کرتے ہیں کہ جناب مریم معصومہ ہے اور عصمت کی دلیل فقط ایک آیت کا ایک لفظ ہے. اب آئیے جناب سیدہ کی عصمت پر خدا پروردگار فرما رہا ہے انما یرید اللہ لیذہب عنکم الرجس اہل البیت ویطہرکم تطہیرا. اللہ فرما رہا ہے انما یرید اللہ کہ جس کا ایک ارادہ کل کائنات ہے, جو کن فیکون کا مالک ہے, وہ کہہ رہا ہے کہ میرا کچھ ارادہ ہی نہیں, فقط میں یہ ارادہ رکھتا ہوں کہ اہل بیت سے ساری رجز دور رکھا جائے اور ان کو پاک اور پاکیزہ رکھا جائے جیسے پاک اور پاکیزہ رکھنے کا حق ہے. جناب مریم کی عصمت کے لیے فقط ایک لفظ اور جناب سیدہ کے لیے اتنے سارے الفاظ. یوں کہوں کہ شاید ایسے لگتا ہے کہ وہاں لفظوں کی کمی ہے تو یہاں الفاظ نچھاور ہو رہے ہیں. سمندر ہے الفاظوں کا جو بہہ رہا ہے. یہ ہے جناب سیدہ. اور علامہ اقبال کیا خوب کہتے ہیں کہ جناب مریم کی نسبت کیا ہے کہ وہ جناب عیسیٰ کی مادر گرامی ہے. اور جناب سیدہ کی 3 نسبتیں ہیں. رحمت للعالمین کی بیٹی, کل ایمان کی زوجہ, اور حسنین جو جوانان جنت کے سردار ہے وہ ان کی ماں ہے. رسول خدا نے ہی تو فرمایا ہے نا کہ اگر بیٹا پیدا ہو تو نعمت, بیٹی پیدا ہو تو رحمت. رسول اللہ جو رحمت للعالمین ہے, رحمت للعالمین کی رحمت کا نام سیدہ فاطمہ ہے. اور فرمایا یا علی کل ایمان. آج جنگ خندق کی بات ہو رہی ہے کہ آج کل ایمان کل کفر سے مقابلہ کر رہا ہے. جنگ خندق کل ایمان کل کفر سے مقابلہ کر رہا ہے. اور رسول خدا کی یہ بھی حدیث ہے کہ جب کسی کی شادی ہوتی ہے تو آدھا ایمان نصف ایمان بچ جاتا ہے. سیدہ کل ایمان کا نصف ایمان ہے. اور سارے علماء شیعہ اور سنی علماء فرماتے ہیں حدیث کیا ہے, الحسن والحسین سیدی شبابی اہل الجنہ, کہ حسن اور حسین جوانان جنت کے سردار ہے. اور کیا فرمایا الجنت تحت اقدام امہات, کہ جنت تمہاری ماؤں کے قدموں تلے ہے. عزیزان گرامی, حسنین جو جنت جوانان جنت کے سردار ہے ان کی جنت فاطمہ کے قدموں تلے ہے. یہ ہے فاطمہ کہ اگر پیغمبر کے گھر میں آئے تو وہ رحمت للعالمین بن جائے, علی کے گھر میں آئے تو وہ کل ایمان بن جائے, حسنین کو آغوش میں لے تو وہ جوانان جنت کے سردار بن جائے, چکی پیس کے سلمان کو روٹی کھلائے تو وہ منا اہل البیت بن جائے, جابر کو اگر نصیب ہو جائے تو وہ حدیث قصہ کا راوی بن جائے, اور اگر وہ روٹی ابو ذر کو نصیب ہو جائے تو وہ بے زر سے ابو ذر بن جائے. درود بھیجے محمد اور آل محمد پر. بس عزیزان گرامی, آ گیا میں اپنی منزل پر. آج شب شہادت سیدۃ النساء العالمین ہے. علماء نے لکھا ہے کہ شفاعت اسے نصیب ہوگی کہ جو کم از کم ایک آنسو زہرا پر اور اولاد زہرا پر بہائے. عزیزان گرامی، آج ہم کوشش کریں کہ کم از کم ایک آنسو ہم بہائے. کیوں؟ کون ہے جناب سیدہ کہ جن کے لیے ہمارے چھٹے امام نے فرمایا کہ اس دنیا جب سے پیدا ہوئی ہے نا تو رونے والے تو فقط 5 ہی ہیں. ان 5 سے زیادہ اور کوئی نہیں رویا. کتاب خصال شیخ صدوق کی روایت نقل کرتے ہیں البکاؤن 50. بکا کہتے ہیں بہت رونے والے کو. جب سے دنیا پیدا ہوئی ہے نا تو رونے والے تو فقط 5 ہی گزرے ہیں. ارے کتنے زیادہ رونے والے، بڑے بڑے رونے والے گزرے ہیں. ایک تو نبی تھا جو مچھلی کی پیٹ میں بھی روتے روتے مچھلی بھی ساتھ رونے پڑی. کہا نہیں یہ ان 5 میں سے نہیں ہے. اچھا تو ایک نبی تھا، نوح پڑھتے تھے، نام رکھا نوح. کہا نہیں یہ بھی بکاؤن 50 میں سے نہیں ہے، کوئی اور ہی ہے. اچھا تو امیر المؤمنین امام حسن مجتبی امام حسین. کہا نہیں البکاؤن 50. بہت رونے والے جو بہت ہی زیادہ روتے ہیں نا وہ صرف 5 ہے. پہلا کون؟ جناب آدم. کتنا روئے؟ 40 سال. کیوں روئے؟ جناب حابیل کے قتل پر. گریا کب رکا؟ جب انہیں پتا چلا کہ کوئی علی اکبر جیسا بھی ہوگا جو شہید ہوگا. کہا علی اکبر جیسا بھی کوئی مارا جائے گا، بس میں اپنے حابیل پر گریا روکتا ہوں. دوسرے کون ہے؟ جناب یعقوب. کتنا روئے؟ 40 سے 70 سال روئے. کیوں روئے؟ کیونکہ ان کا بیٹا، ان کا فرزند یوسف جدا ہو گیا تھا، نظروں سے دور چلا گیا تھا. مر نہیں گیا تھا، زندہ تھا لیکن جدا ہو گیا تھا. قرآن کہتا ہے وَأَبْيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ فَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ کہ اتنا روئے کہ ان کے آنکھوں کی بینائی چلے گئی، نہیں دکھائی دیتا تھا، نابینا ہو گئے. اور میدان کربلا میں زینب کے آنکھوں کے سامنے 18 فخر یوسف شہید ہو گئے. اچھا تو تیسرے نمبر پہ کون ہے؟ یوسف علیہ السلام. کتنا روئے؟ 21 سال. کہاں پہ روئے؟ زندان میں روئے. پروردگارا مجھے زندان سے رہائی دے دے. ارے میں کہوں گا آپ کے پاس مائیں بہنیں پھوپھیاں تو نہیں ہے نا؟ اللہ اللہ میرا سلام ہو سید سجاد پر. اچھا تو چوتھا کون ہے؟ ابھی تھوڑی دیر میں آ رہا ہوں. 5واں ہمارے اور آپ کے مولا امام سید الساجدین امام زین العابدین ہے. وہ کتنا روئے؟ 35 برس یا 40 برس روئے. اچھا اب چوتھے نمبر پہ کون ہے؟ کہا میری دادی فاطمہ. کتنا روئی؟ کہا 3 مہینے روئی. اچھا مولا آپ نے کہا کہ ان 5 میں سے سب سے زیادہ رونے والا کوئی اور نہیں. ان 5 میں سے کوئی 70 سال رویا، کوئی 40 سال رویا، کوئی 35 سال رویا اور کوئی 21 سال رویا. آپ کہتے ہیں کہ آپ کی دادی فاطمہ فقط 3 مہینے کے لیے روئی ہے. امام کہتے ہیں مدت کو نہ دیکھ، میری دادی کی مدت کو نہ دیکھ، شدت کو دیکھ. 18 سال میں سر کے بال سفید ہو چکے تھے. ازادارو یہ ہے جناب سیدہ. 18 سال میں عصا لے کے بیت الحزن جایا کرتی تھی. ارے آپ کہیں گے کہ عصا تو بڑھاپے کی نشانی ہے نا، ضعیفی کی نشانی ہے نا. سیدہ کتنے سال کی ہوں گی؟ 70 سال، 80 سال، 65 سال. ارے جواب کیا ملے گا؟ 18 سال کی عمر تھی میری شہزادی کی، لیکن 18 18 साल में इतनी ज़ईफ़ा कर दी गई थी कि बिना असा बिना सहारा वो चल नहीं पाती थी। अज़ादारो जनाब सैयदा बहुत ही गिरिया करती थी, लेकिन लोग शिकायत करते थे। जब दिन में रोती थी तो अली से फरियाद करते थे, जब रात को रोती थी तो अली से फरियाद करते थे। मुझे ज़ैनब याद आ रही है, लेकिन अज़ादारो एक मर्तबा अमीरुल मोमिनीन सैयदा के पास जाते हैं और कहते हैं सैयदा हमने आपके लिए एक घर बनाया है, उसका नाम है बैतुल हुज़्न, आप वहां जाके गिरिया कीजिएगा। बस हर रोज जनाब सैयदा हसनैन को लेकर जन्नतुल बकी के पीछे बैतुल हुज़्न में मुसीबतें पड़ा करती थी, मसाइब पढ़ा करती थी। अब मुझे ये नहीं मालूम कि मसाइब में क्या पढ़ती थी, लेकिन रावी कहता है कि एक मरसिया पढ़ती थी, हसन और हुसैन गिरिया करते थे। वो क्या जुमले है सैयदा के, सुब्बत अलैया मसाइबन लो अन्नहा सुब्बत अलल अय्यामी सिरना लयालिहा। अल्लाह अकबर, सैयदा के जुमले हैं। बाबा आपकी वफात के बाद मुझ पर इतनी मुसीबतें आई है कि अगर वो मुसीबतें दिन को आ जाए तो वो काली रात में तब्दील हो जाए। अल्लाह अकबर। अज़ादारो एक मर्तबा ईरान में एक गांव में एक जाकिर रहा करता था। वो मसाइब पढ़ता था, मजलिसें पढ़ा करता था। बस एक मर्तबा वो जाकिर खुद अपनी किताब में लिखता है कि एक मर्तबा मेरे ख्वाब में मैंने क्या देखा, इमाम हसन मुजतबा आते हैं और कहते हैं ए मेरे जाकिर तू मेरे रोने वालों को मेरे सबसे ज्यादा सबसे सख्त मसाइब सबसे कठिन मसाइब क्यों नहीं पढ़ता। अज़ादारो सुन सकेंगे जुमला। वो कहता है मौला मैं तो आपके चाहने वालों को, आप पर रोने वालों को सारे मसाइब पढ़ता हूँ। मैं वो भी मसाइब पढ़ता हूँ कि जब भी कोई घर से बाहर निकलता है ना और अजियत मिलती है तो जब वो घर में आता है तो सुकून पाता है। लेकिन हमारा एक ऐसा इमाम था कि जब वो घर के बाहर जाए तब भी अजियत मिले और जब घर में आए तो जहर देने वाली बीवी मिले। इमाम ने कहा नहीं, ये मेरा सबसे सख्त मसाइब नहीं है। अच्छा तो मैं आपके चाहने वालों से ये भी कहता हूं कि हमारा एक इमाम है जिसको ऐसा जहर दिया गया कि उसका सारा कलेजा निकल आया। इमाम कहते हैं नहीं, ये मेरा सबसे सख्त मुसीबत नहीं है। अच्छा तो मैं ये भी कहता हूं कि जब हमारे इमाम इस दुनिया से रहलत कर गए, जनाजा जब घर से बाहर निकला तो सफेद था, जब जनाजा घर में वापस आया तो खून आलूदा हो गया। बहन को 70 तीर निकालने पड़े। इमाम हसन मुजतबा कहते हैं नहीं, ये भी मेरा सबसे ज्यादा सख्त मसाइब नहीं है। अच्छा मौला मैं आपके चाहने वालों को ये भी कहता हूं कि हमारा एक इमाम था जिसकी हसरत थी कि अपने नाना के पहलू में दफनाया जाए। इमाम कहते हैं नहीं, ये भी मेरा सख्त मसाइब नहीं है। तो वो कहता है मौला आप ही बता दीजिए आपका सबसे सख्त मसाइब और मरहला कौन सा है। इमाम हसन मुजतबा कहते हैं ए जाकिर सुन, जब तू मुसीबत पड़े तो मेरे रोने वालों को कहना कि हसन मुजतबा का सबसे सख्त मसाइब ये है कि मदीना शहर था, उस शहर में एक गली थी, उस गली में एक दरवाजा था, उस दरवाजे को आग लगाई गई। گئی. اس جلتے ہوئے دروازے کے پیچھے حسن مجتبیٰ کی ماں کھڑی تھی. حسن مجتبیٰ 7 سال کے تھے جب انہوں نے دیکھا کہ یہ جلتا ہوا دروازہ ان کی ماں پر گر گیا. ان کی ماں نے آواز بلند کی, فضا الیکی, جلدی آؤ, میرا محسن شہید ہو گیا. ازادارو, یہاں ماحول بنا ہوا ہے نا, شام غریبہ کا ماحول بنا ہوا ہے, چراغ بجھا دیے گئے ہیں, لیکن ایک بہت ہی بڑا فرق ہے آج کی شب میں اور شام غریبہ میں. وہ فرق کیا ہے؟ شام غریبہ میں ماؤں کے سامنے بچوں کو مارا گیا تھا, اور آج جیسی شب میں بچوں کے سامنے ماں کو مارا گیا. ازاداروں, آخری جملے. امام حسن مجتبیٰ ایک مرتبہ ایک گلی سے گزر رہے تھے. انہوں نے کہا, بھیا حسین یہاں ٹھہر جاؤ, اس آدمی کو جو گزر رہا ہے گزرنے دو. حسین نے پوچھا, بھیا کیا مسئلہ ہے, کیوں گزر جائے؟ اس نے کہا, جب بھی میں اسے دیکھتا ہوں تو مجھے وہ دن یاد آتا ہے. یہ وہی ہے, یہ وہی ہے, یہ وہی ہے جو اس دن لکڑیاں لے آیا تھا اور دروازے کو آگ لگایا تھا. جب وہ گزر جائے گا تب ہم گزریں گے. اے میرے بھیا حسن, جب بھی میں اسے دیکھتا ہوں تو میری آنکھوں سے خون بہنے لگتا ہے. میں اماں زہرا کو ابھی تک بھلایا نہ پایا ہوں. الا لعنت اللہ علی القوم الظالمین, انا للہ و انا الیہ راجعون. ماتم حسین یا حسین. سینے میں لیے رنج و علم, کرب و بلا کا بابا سے ہے ملنے کو چلی. ابیہا آنکھوں سے لہو بہتا ہے, پہلو ہے شکستہ. یا فاطمہ زہرا, یا فاطمہ زہرا, ہاں یا فاطمہ زہرا, یا ہاں یا فاطمہ زہرا, یا فاطمہ زہرا, ہاں یا فاطمہ. امت نے بہت آپ کو تر پایا ہے بی بی, ہر حق کے لیے آپ کو ترسایا ہے بی بی. غاصب نے جو دربار میں بلوایا ہے بی بی, اس دکھ سے لرزنے لگا خود عرش خدا کا. یا فاطمہ, یا فاطمہ زہرا, یا فاطمہ, ہاں یا فاطمہ زہرا, شبیر کی دنیا میں ولادت سے بھی پہلے کہتی تھی یہ زہرا کہ بہت سہتی ہوں صدمے، بچہ یہ میرا کوک میں بے چین بہت ہے، بچہ میرا کہتا ہے کہ اماں میں ہوں پیاسا، یا فاطمہ زہرا، ہاں یا فاطمہ زہرا، یا فاطمہ زہرا، یا فاطمہ سینے میں ازل سے ہی میرے کرب و بلا ہے، جاتے ہوئے زہرا نے یہ دنیا سے کہا ہے، کیا شام میں ہے ہونا ہے یہ سب مجھ کو پتا ہے، کٹتے ہوئے صحرا میں ہے شبیر کا لاشا، یا فاطمہ زہرا، ہاں یا فاطمہ زہرا، یا فاطمہ زہرا، زہرا دنیا سے چلی کہتی ہوئی بنت پیمبر، غم کرب و بلا کا ہے لیے یہ دل مضطر، آتا ہے تصور میں میرے شام کا منظر، اللہ رکھے ہے زینب و کلثوم کا پردہ، یا فاطمہ زہرا، ہاں یا فاطمہ زہرا، زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا، سب مل کے فاطمہ زہرا، یا فاطمہ زہرا، یہ کام رہا صدیوں سے بس اہل عزا کا، پیاسوں کے لیے بہتا رہا اشکوں کا کو دریا، شبیر کا پرسا دیا زہرا کو ہمیشہ، شبیر کو دو مادرے شبیر کا پرسا، یا فاطمہ زہرا، ہاں یا فاطمہ زہرا، یا زہرا، یا فاطمہ زہرا، زہرا ماؤں سے عزاداروں کی زہرا نے کہا ہے، عاشور کے مقصد کا برم تم نے رکھا ہے، بچوں کو عزاداری پر قربان کیا ہے، محشر میں چکاؤں گی میں قرضہ یہ تمہارا، یا فاطمہ زہرا، ہاں یا فاطمہ زہرا، یا فاطمہ زہرا، فاطمہ زہرا، یا فاطمہ زہرا، یا ام ابیہا، یا فاطمہ زہرا، یا فاطمہ زہرا، یا فاطمہ زہرا،
فاطمہ زہرا، فاطمہ زہرا، فاطمہ زہرا، یا زہرا، یا زہرا، یا اے میری بی شہزادی جہاں سارا یا تو ہمیں ہے زور اما دے دے اپنی چادر کا سائبہ دے دے تیری قدرت میں کیا نہیں بی بی تو جس چاہے دو چاہا دے دے یا Oh, the purest, pious lady of light, an example of dignity and might. How can we not shed a tear for you when we see the pain that you went through? Yeah. From a young age, you have faced tyranny, felt great pain as you lost your baby, suffered sorrow as your father left you, yet you stay strong. We wish to be like you, yeah. اے میری بی بی بس تو ہی مراد دیتی ہے تیری چوکٹ در الہی کا استیار ہے یا فرش مجلس پہ اور مصلی پر ہر جگہ کہہ رہا ہے رو رو کر ہم رہے نہ رہے مگر بی بی تا قیامت رہے گا میں سرور یا سیدات النساء العالمین, the leader of the women of world. You're the center of the pure Ahlul Bayt, chief of all those mentioned ladies so great. Yeah. By Mawla's side, after Rasulullah, you stood up to the thugs of Medina. When the door came crashing down on you, Mohsin taken quickly away from you. Yeah. اے میری بی بی دیکھ کر تیری مصیبت کو سارے عالم کا دل مصائب سے پارا پارا ہے یا دیر دل پر ہے جو ستم ٹوٹے زندگی میں جو تو نے کم دیکھے آسمان و زمین پر ہوتے مثل شب و سیاہ ہو جاتے Fatima Zahra, Fatima Zahra, Ya Husayn.
وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين خصوصا سيدي ومولاي أبا الفضل العباس بن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا شهداء كربلاء جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولى وابن مولى. السلام عليك يا غريب الغربة. السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء. السلام عليك يا شمس الشموس وأنيس النفوس أيها المدفون بأرض التوس. السلام عليك يا سلطان أبا الحسن علي بن موسى الرضا. كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا صاحب العصر والزمان. الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وزهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم قل لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وأينا حتى تسكنه أرزك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الفاتحة.